You're scrolling your phone and suddenly, Trump freaks out as Coca-Cola responds to tariffs by quitting the US. Sounds wild, right? But here's the real story. The US just slapped big new tariffs on steel and aluminum imports, and it's shaking up companies everywhere. This isn't just business news, it could hit your wallet from the car you drive to the soda you drink. So, what are these tariffs? Why are they happening? And who's really feeling the fizz? Let's break it down. Tariffs, basically taxes on stuff we import, are back in a big way. You might have heard the word tariff tossed around in the news, but what does it really mean for you, for businesses, and for the economy as a whole? Well, let's break it down. When the government puts a tariff on something, it's like adding a toll to every product that crosses the border. And right now that toll just got a lot steeper for certain metals. The US government just slapped a 50% charge on imported steel and aluminum. That's not a small bump, it's a massive leap. This means that any steel or aluminum coming from outside the country is suddenly a lot more expensive. These metals are everywhere. In your car, your appliances, even the can holding your favorite soda. So, when their prices go up, it ripples through the entire economy. Imagine your $10 pizza suddenly costs $15 just because it crossed a border. That's what's happening to metal. It's not just pizza either. Think about the cost of a new refrigerator, a car, or even a can of soup. All of these things rely on steel or aluminum. So when those metals get pricier, so does everything made from them. It's like a domino effect, and the first tile just fell. The goal? Make American-made metal more attractive, boost US factories, and protect jobs. By making imported metals more expensive, the government hopes companies will buy more from American producers. This could mean more work for US factories, more shifts for workers, and a stronger manufacturing sector overall. It's about keeping jobs at home and making sure American industry stays competitive. It's a bold America First move, but it's a huge jump, like your rent going up by half overnight. For many, this sudden increase is a shock. Businesses that rely on metal for their products or construction projects are now facing much higher bills. It's not just a small adjustment, it's a major change that could affect their bottom line and even the prices you pay as a consumer. Some US metal producers are thrilled, but companies that use a lot of metal, not so much. For American steel and aluminum makers, this is great news. They can sell more and maybe even hire more workers. But for everyone else, especially manufacturers who need lots of metal, it's a headache. They're caught between rising costs and the need to keep prices reasonable for their customers. For them, it's a new wall, higher costs, tougher choices. Some might have to raise prices, cut back on hiring, or even delay projects. Others could look for ways to use less metal or switch to different materials, but that's not always possible. The pressure is on, and not everyone will be able to adapt easily. The administration says it's about fairness and national strength. They argue that these tariffs level the playing field, making sure American workers aren't undercut by cheaper foreign metals. It's also about security. Having a strong domestic metal industry means the country isn't as dependent on other nations for critical materials. But for many businesses, it's a scramble to figure out how to keep up. They're crunching numbers, renegotiating contracts, and trying to find ways to stay afloat. Some worry about layoffs or shrinking profits, while others fear they might not survive if costs keep rising. This is just the start. Let's see how it hits you. Buckle up. The effects of these new metal taxes are only beginning to ripple through the economy. Whether you're a business owner, a worker, or just someone buying groceries, you'll likely feel the impact in one way or another. So, stay tuned. This story is far from over. Why should you care if factories pay more for metal? It might sound like something that only affects big companies or faraway industries, but the truth is, it hits much closer to home than you might think. The price of metal is a hidden force shaping the cost of everyday life. Metal is everywhere. It's in almost everything you buy, from the packaging on your favorite snacks to the appliances in your kitchen. When the cost of metal goes up, it doesn't just impact factories, it trickles down to the price tags you see at the store. Take that can of soda, for example. It might seem simple, but it's made from aluminum, a metal whose price is rising. Every time you grab a cold drink, you're feeling the effects of global metal markets. If it costs more to make that can, you'll pay more at the store. Even a few extra cents per can add up over time, especially for families who buy in bulk or stock up for parties and events. And it's not just drinks. Cars are loaded with steel and aluminum. From the frame to the engine, metal is everywhere. When metal prices rise, the cost to build a car goes up, sometimes by thousands of dollars. That means your next car, whether it's brand new or even used, could be a lot more expensive. Dreaming of a new home? Construction uses tons of steel, from the beams that hold up the roof to the nails in the walls. As metal prices climb, building new houses and apartments gets pricier too. Developers have to pay more for materials, and those costs get passed on to buyers and renters. Experts warn these tariffs and price hikes could add thousands, even tens of thousands, to the price tag of a new home. That could put home ownership out of reach for many families, or make rent go up for everyone. It's not just numbers on a page. These tariffs and rising costs could make everyday life more expensive. From your weekly grocery run to the bills you pay each month, the impact is real and personal. The ripple effects spread everywhere. Groceries, transportation, even public projects like bridges and schools all rely on metal. When prices go up, so does the cost of living, and everyone feels it, whether you drive, take the bus, or just buy food for your family. It's like adding one pricey ingredient to a recipe. It makes the whole meal cost more. Restaurants, manufacturers, and stores all have to adjust, and those changes show up in your final bill. American families could feel the pinch soon. Budgeting gets harder, and tough choices might have to be made. That's why everyone's talking about these changes. They affect us all, in ways big and small. The impact is closer than you think. Whether you're shopping for groceries, saving for a car, or dreaming of a new home, rising metal prices are shaping your future. It's a story that touches every household, every wallet, and every community. Let's take a closer look at Coca-Cola. Imagine what happens if the price of aluminum suddenly shoots up because of new tariffs or trade policies. For a company like Coke, which relies on millions of aluminum cans every single day, this isn't just a minor inconvenience, it's a major problem. They're faced with a tough decision. Do they pass those extra costs on to you, the customer, by raising prices? Or do they try to cut costs somewhere else to keep their drinks affordable? If you're used to grabbing a six-pack for a certain price, you might be in for a surprise at the checkout. Prices could creep up, making your favorite drink a little less sweet. Or, in an effort to save money, Coke might start experimenting with cheaper packaging options. Imagine seeing your soda in a paper pouch or a thinner can, something that feels a bit off from the classic Coke experience. These changes might seem small, but they're a direct result of companies scrambling to adapt to higher costs. There's even been wild speculation, rumors that Coke could consider moving some operations out of the US to avoid these extra costs. While that's an extreme scenario, it highlights just how much pressure tariffs can put on even the biggest brands. It's a reminder that no company is immune to global economic shifts, and it's not just soda companies feeling the squeeze. Car manufacturers like Ford are in the same boat. They rely heavily on steel and aluminum to build everything from sedans to trucks. When those materials get more expensive, the cost of making each car goes up. That means the sticker price you see at the dealership could climb higher, making it tougher for families to afford a new vehicle. Ford has already warned that tariffs could cost them hundreds of millions of dollars. To cope, they might have to raise prices, cut back on hiring, or even lay off workers. These aren't just numbers on a spreadsheet, these are real people's jobs and livelihoods at stake. If cars become too expensive, fewer people will buy them. That means sales drop, factories slow down, and jobs could be lost. It's a domino effect that ripples through the entire economy, from the assembly line to the sales floor. This is the chain reaction at work. Higher costs force companies to make tough choices, and those choices have real consequences for workers, families, and communities across the country. Some companies might try to buy more American-made metal to avoid tariffs, but that's not always a simple fix. US steel and aluminum can be more expensive or harder to source in the quantities big manufacturers need. Others might have to delay new projects, put off investments, or even cancel plans to expand. That means fewer construction jobs, slower growth, and missed opportunities for local economies. These aren't just abstract economic trends, they translate into real decisions that affect how much you pay at the store, whether your job feels secure, and how healthy the overall economy is. Tariffs force companies to rethink their entire strategy, from sourcing materials to setting prices and managing their workforce. Every decision becomes a balancing act between staying competitive and staying afloat. The stakes are high. It's not just about big corporations, it's about your wallet, your job, and your future. That's why these issues matter to all of us. So, who's celebrating? US steel and aluminum makers. With imports pricier, American metal suddenly looks like a bargain. More orders, more business, maybe even more jobs. This is what the government wants. For steel towns hit hard by foreign competition, tariffs feel like a lifeline. It's a shot at economic revival and bringing back lost jobs. But can US producers ramp up fast enough? And what if other countries hit back? For now though, American metal makers are raising a glass. America's trading partners, not happy. Countries like Canada, Mexico, and the EU see these tariffs as unfair, and they're ready to fight back. Retaliation means new tariffs on American goods. Think motorcycles, bourbon, jeans. This tit-for-tat can spiral into a trade war, hurting businesses on both sides. If US exports get hit, American companies could lose sales and jobs. Tariffs meant to help some industries could end up hurting others. It's like fixing one leak and springing another. Trade tensions are rising and the global economy is on edge. The US says it's about fairness, but others call it protectionism. Negotiations are tense, everyone wants to avoid a trade war. In these fights, there are rarely winners, just higher prices for all. So, what's the government say? They're standing firm. These tariffs are about protecting American industry and national security. Officials argue it's legal, overdue, and will level the playing field. They promise to defend the policy, no matter what. Critics aren't convinced. Many warn tariffs will raise prices and slow the economy. Businesses worry about higher costs and lost competitiveness. Some politicians fear damage to U.S. alliances. It's a standoff tough medicine or a risky gamble. The debate is heating up and the stakes are high. So what should you do? Don't panic buy Coke just yet. Big companies rarely make drastic moves overnight, but these policies have real consequences. Watch prices. Groceries, cars, and homes could all get more expensive. Listen for company announcements about price hikes or job cuts. Keep an eye on global news. Retaliation could hit American products abroad. The government might tweak the rules, but for now, uncertainty rules. Stay informed, watch your budget, and be ready for surprises. The tariff roller coaster is just getting started. Hang on tight.